Hi DIY Fam Bam and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Lakhana Lakumala of LK Home DIY on Instagram. So please be sure to follow me there too right after watching this video. But if you are wondering why today's background looks a little different, it's because I am away from home for work for the next couple of days and I hadn't had the chance to film the intro and the outro, and this video also took like forever, so it's just trying to juggle work, which is like super hectic at the moment, and also my DIY stuff, which I thoroughly enjoy and I wish I had more time to do, but eventually we are here now and you're watching this video, so thank you for your patience. But yes, getting to today's video. This video was done for the Builders Warehouse gardening campaign that I was a part of. So I was really, I think working with builders was one of the things that I've always wanted to do. So I'm really grateful to work with such a brand that I love like that. So yes, and it was part of gardening, so I just thought about how do I necessarily bring DIY into gardening, and I did some research. I wanted to do something very minimal and interesting for my balcony, and I then thought of making a planter. At first I wanted to do a vertical garden, and then I saw this other picture of DIY planters that I could make, so I got working and I really enjoyed it, and I hope you get to enjoy the video too. Let me know what you think and enjoy. I'm first starting off with this Rust-Oleum spray paint, which is in the color cement, and I'm going to be painting the terracotta plots. So first starting off with the inside and then going to flip it and then do the outside. So let us go. So the first step is trying to determine the diameter of the pot. So I needed to be able to, the wood to sit just underneath this ridge. So I need to calculate the diameter, but I can't use this because then the pot will fall through. So I must use this diameter at this specific point. So how I'm going to then do that is I'm going to calculate the diameter from the circumference. So here I've just got a piece of rope that I'm then going to use to try and find the circumference from this point. So just measure it out. I don't know if like terracotta also gives you guys like that heebie-jeebies, like my nail scratching against this container is like giving me goosies. But there you go. So I found my point. So that from my right to my left hand, that's the circumference, and then I'm just gonna measure it out. So I've got my measuring tape, and then from this point to that is going to be, let me just do this, I marked it. Okay, stand still, stand still, stand still. Not much of a singer. Okay. Hey, come on guys, work with me here. So the circumference is 44 centimeters or 440 millimeters, and then from that I'll then be able to determine my diameter by simply dividing my circumference by pi.
So going back to, is this geometry? Or it is geometry, right? I don't know what maths it is, but I know it is maths. So just using the formula of diameter is equals to circumference divided by pi gives you that. So now this is the frame that I'm going to be using, and I then calculated my diameter by using my circumference, which was 440 millimeters divided by 3.14, gave me 140.12 millimeters, which I've then just rounded off to 140 millimeters because this is just negligible. And then what I'm then going to do is I'm going to have to subtract the width of these blocks and calculate those pieces of wood that must go in between there. And so basically then calculating that, and calculating these two. So this needs to be 140 millimeters apart. That distance needs to be 140 millimeters apart. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to do the same here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to cut up the 140s as well. And then I'm just going to then add the width of these ones times 2. And then I'll then have it. So what I then calculated is my diameter, because this part of my pot needs to fit into this space. So this is 140 millimeters, and then so that's the length of the diameter. And then what I then calculated is that the wood that I'll be using is 22 millimeters thick. So hence then I just then added this area over here, so 22 times 22, which will give me, because I'm making a perfect square, then, well, not a perfect square, but I'm making a square, so this is going to be 184 because of the 22 plus 140 plus 22 gives me 184. And so I'm going to need 4 times 184, so which will be for the front and the back of the top part of the frame, and then the front and the back of the bottom part of the frame. And then I'm going to need 8 times 140 millimeter pieces, and I hope I have enough wood. Yeah, but it's 8 times 140. So with the 8 times 140, that's going to be for 1, 2, and then the bottom frame 3, 4, and then this part 5, 6, 7, and 8. And that is the 8 of the 140. So yes, let's now get to the measuring and the cutting. So I just did the calculations, and I am going to be needing 120 pieces of wood. So I'm gonna have to do about 119 cuts, which I personally don't have the time, the patience, and even the proper material to ensure that, I mean, the proper tools to ensure that they come out like super smooth. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to Builder's Warehouse, take the wood that I bought, and I think I'm going to need to buy an extra one, and then I'll ask them to just cut it for me because sis and these. While my wood is getting cut, I am going to just take a look see around Builder's Warehouse. I also love this section of Builder's Warehouse because it is so nice. So after my trip to Builder's Warehouse, I came back with all my 120 pieces of wood, and I just separated them into the two groups of 140 and the 184 millimeters, and I just made the frames, sandwiching the 140 in between the 184 pieces.
And now taking the 2 frames, I just then joined them with the 140 pieces. Then over here I'm just sanding down the wood to make it smooth. Sand, sand, sand away, sand, sand, sand. Oh, it got so hot outside. So here I just used this wood sealer in the color clear just to seal the wood. And I just used a sponge to put on the wood sealer. Look at how cool this guy's moving in the back. Between coats, I just used a sand block to sand and apply the wood sealer. And here, now I'm just drilling some pilot holes to drill in the screws just to give in that extra bit of support, especially the top part of the frame that's going to be holding the actual pot. So drilling pilot holes, making sure which side is my top part, and then drilling the pilot holes in that frame. Now drilling in the actual nails. I think I used wow, I can't even remember what size nails I used, but I think it's about 55 millimeter. And here I just then use these D-rings that I'm going to be using to attach the frames to the walls, and I use those 16 millimeter nails just to attach the D-rings. And I just mark, drill the pilot holes, and then drill in the nails. And it was really that simple. So this is basically just repetition of having to do it 2 holes per frame 10 times. Now I just marked the spot on the wall where I wanted to attach my planters, and I wanted a very staggered, very organic, very just randomly placed, well, not so random. And there goes my camera falling. Well and then just moving on to the second wall just to make sure that the frames were straight. I just used a spirit level, but I saw some of the frames weren't exactly very straight, which I'm a little bit irritated by, but I think I'll just fix them along the way. And here I was trying to be very quick because the drill makes noise, especially drilling into wall, and I was afraid like my neighbors were going to complain. So this is the final product, and I am so happy with the way that it came out, and I can't wait to grow all my herbs and actually use them in my cooking. I already have the mint and the rosemary because they were bought as the ready-made herbs, if I can say so. But everything else I'm still growing, and I didn't label them on purpose, just to give that little bit of mystery of kind of like what's going to grow where. So this is it. Thank you so much for watching, and please do leave a comment, subscribe, and like the video. Up until the next time, love you guys, bye.